Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm going to be reacting to Are You the Seer or the Seen by Moojiji. So this was a request. If you have a request, please leave the title, the YouTube channel, and the link to the video. You can put the link if you want, the direct link, but sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, sometimes it gets put in the held review, and there's a lot of spam in that area, and I don't feel like sorting through all that stuff. But I've seen some people put links in there recently, and they've worked. But I'm just giving you a warning now. If you put a link in there, it might be put to held review. I have no control over that. And anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Actually, before we get started, so prior to watching all this wisdom videos, I would have said, obviously you are the seer. I mean, you're seeing through your eyes. Your brain is processing everything that your eyes, your hands, your senses inputs. Now, watching the wisdom video, I'm sorry, I would say you are the seer prior, but understanding that you are seeing through your eyes, which would indicate that you're the seen actually. But in the wisdom videos, you are the seer. You cannot be the seen because the Turiya itself cannot be, with Swami saying it cannot be the experience, which I'm thinking about that one. And who else? Sadhguru saying that the eyes, the brain itself cannot be, you can see these things, but these are your inputs, these are your faculties. So prior, I would say you are the seer, but in a different context. Now I would say you're the seer in the sense that you cannot be seen. You cannot be seen because the Turiya cannot be seen or experienced. Okay. Moji. Why was it Moojiji in the first time? Can the seer be seen? Swami would say, I believe he would say no. And that's where the actually good question is. Can it be seen or can it be experienced? Because if you can see it, you can experience it. So I guess actually at that point it's the same question, isn't it?
Again, I re-emphasize, somewhere in our mind, in our psyche, as distorted, turned things around the wrong way around. And it feels as though going towards the truth, as you say, in the way that you put it beautifully, because I ask you, can the seer be seen? Can the seer be seen? And where does fear have to do with anything of this? But as soon as the attention turns to look, something is looking, can the seer be seen? So which one is the seer? The one who takes the question, can the seer be seen, and is looking for the seer, is that the seer? Or is that the seen?
I'm sorry, I just had a moment of thought there that if we have no organs to sense the seer, then obviously it cannot be experienced. Ooh, I still don't know where I'm going with that though, because if we had no mirrors, we would say we are the eyes, because well, I guess not really, because we have our touch and our eyes and our ears and our nose. But we would say we were these things. I think. Never mind. Scratch that. That was. Thought I had something there maybe. But I guess it goes to the fact that the seer cannot be seen, and then if we have no way of seeing ourselves, if we were just a bunch of floating eyes and nothing else, we had no way of looking in a mirror or turning the eyes to look at the eyes, in a sense. I'm putting so much restrictions on this example, it's ridiculous. But then we would be the eyes. I guess that would be a good example. If you were just a floating eyeball and there are no mirrors in the world, you cannot see yourself. You cannot see the seer. You would be able to experience everything, but you would never be able to experience yourself, because the only experience you can experience is seeing, and the only way to see is to look out, never to look in. You can never look in to the seer. I don't know if that's a good example, but it kind of makes sense to me a little bit.
Again, the question comes, can the seer be seen? Who employs this question? Question, can the seer be seen? Okay, now when I look for the seer, okay, so you who's looking for the seer, are you the seer or are you the seen?
Why not both?
Because the very attempt to look for the seer is already in view of the seer, of the original seer. So which is real? The one who takes the advice, can the seer be seen? Which is actually authentic on both sides, actually. Can the seer be seen? Okay, let me see if the seer can be seen. Let's look for the seer. Okay. But to find the seer, we have to construct an image of the seer, okay, in order to see it. But the very fact that we are constructing an image of a seer in order to see it or to identify it, and the one that we take ourselves to be hunting for the seer, all of this is already seen. That is not the true position of the seer. The attempt to find the seer is already seen.
By seeing through the seer?
Which is the true perspective. And just in looking, already something is happening which is almost out of your control. Involuntary revelations are coming out just from the potency of this introspection. Who really is the seer? What is the position of the seer? The one who is attempting to clarify whether the seer can be seen. Is this one the seer, or is this one also an object in the seer's view?
If I understood him correctly, it's the seer.
Amazing. That one is already seen.
I'm confused every time. Wait, are we saying that we've seen the scene, or we've already seen the scene? Are we the seer that's seen the scene? Is that what he's...
Who is a true seer? How will it be identified? Can it be identified, and by whom? Another true seer? So for a while, it will give you some nausea. Oh my God! Whoa! What is? It cannot be found. I cannot see the seer. You are who? Who cannot see the seer?
The seer.
Then you say, oh, it's my mind. So the mind is also arising to participate in this contest, but it is also the seen, but it appears also as the seer, which of course is an aspect of the seer, but it's not the totality of the seer because itself is seen. What is the point of the question? Can the seer have any form or quality that are discernible? And who will answer this question? But the seer itself. But does the seer have a form?
Okay. I think what I was going with our sensories is that we don't have a sensor. I am so wondering this. I don't think we have a sensor to sense the seer. And my thinking so far has been that I understand Swami's point of view that the Turiya is separate from the mind and the consciousness. I believe, I can't remember where he placed those, but there's the Turiya, there's the mind, and there's the body. Most people believe that we are the mind controlling the body, but Swami says no, the true selves is the Turiya, which is illuminating the mind, which controls the body. But I'm wondering, my thought on this is, is that the seer or the Turiya is not, if it's within the mind itself, which I believe Swami, I just did a recent video of his where he talks about the, I did look this up, I don't have it up on me, the Yoga Buddha, I can't remember, I'm so terrible, Vijnanavada Buddhist, which says that the mind is the seer, basically, the Turiya. There's nothing more than that. I believe he said that. And that's where I'm at, is that maybe there's an aspect in our mind that is our true selves that can experience the other aspects of the mind, but cannot experience itself. Kind of like what he's saying about the seer cannot see itself, but it can see the mind. And maybe, and also another person was talking about how thought, I believe it's Eckhart, was talking about, no, it was Rupert, was talking about how thought is just glimpses that he didn't say this, but the Turiya basically has nothing but whenever a thought comes into the mind, the Turiya sees the thought and then essentially answers the thought and then keeps on going. I believe, could be misquoting him there. But if you have no thought, you can, is it experience the Turiya? But anyways, it's the sheer fact that I'm wondering that if we can see in our brain when there is no thought, and then when we have thought, does a particular part of our brain lights up? If so, that to me may be the Turiya, just because from all the Swamis and Gurus that I've listened to so far is to basically I'm sorry, Krishnamurti, particularly him, saying that all these thoughts are distractions from your true self, which I do agree. You know, when you try to really try not to think about anything and have no distractions, both physical and thought, then you can experience your true self, which to me would indicate that if we can find that particular part of the brain where once all distractions are removed, can we measure any electrical signals? And then once a thought or a stimulus was applied, will that particular part of the brain light up? Now mind you, that doesn't necessarily mean that your entire brain shut down. There are certain automated systems in your brain that whenever you go to sleep, your body does in fact breathe and want to go pee a lot, for me anyway lately. But yeah, and that's where I'm at with the Turiya portion so far, is the fact that I'm wondering if there's part of the brain that lights up when thought occurs. And what Swami, I'm sorry, he has an extremely long name, is trying to get at is the fact that this illumination may be the brain illuminating the thought, which is what Swami would say, is that the world, everything we see, our brains all being illuminated by the Turiya. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I need to keep going. Talk too much.
The power of this question is not in any kind of intellectual or mental or objective answer that you can find. The power of this question is in the mere introspection, in the attempt at locating the seer, is burning so much noise, conceptual noise, psychic noise. What remains is only that, the indefinable one, in recognition of itself even in this body, but recognizing itself non-phenomenally because it is imageless. But images are recognized in it because there's nothing else that can recognize the image. Because if the mind is the recognizer of images, then the seer is a recognizer of the mind.
I was thinking of something else when he said that. I was thinking of Sadhguru whenever he, the one part I remember from Sadhguru was, they said they wanted, some scientists wanted to scan his brain while he's meditating. I can't remember which video that was, and whenever they did it, the I think they said that he was dead or something like that, or they were asking if he was okay because he went into a meditative state, that maybe there was no brain activity or something like that. Or is it maybe a certain state? I can't quite remember it. I wish I could. And that's another reinforcement of my, so far, belief. Again, belief, no proof. Of maybe there's a section in our brain which is what Swami says is the Turiya, and what most guru, or maybe all gurus and Swamis are saying your true self is. It's maybe not separate from the mind, but maybe part of the mind that, because we cannot experience it, that we think it might be separate from the mind. And that's my theory so far.
The mind is the recognizer of images. Then the seer is a recognizer of the mind. I wonder you follow. You're coming into the deep mystery of this universe and having a sense of the greatness of that immortal being which is dwelling in this body, which has been living and appearing in drag as a person.
Like
I am doing this, this is my life. The Supreme is playing in the role of a junkie, a fool, a wise person. And yet it is untouched, unreachable, unattainable. Why? Because there's nothing else but it. It dreams itself as a journeyer traveling toward to meeting its own self. But while it's in the idea of itself as a journeyer, it doesn't realize that it's hunting its own self. And therefore, when it contemplates the ultimate seer, it perceives it only abstractly, and then fear comes up. Oh my God, if I discover this, I might disappear. Something is laughing at this, but you cannot hear it. Perhaps laughing at its own majesty. Not a cynical laugh, a divine laugh. A divine laugh. I'm sure God is pleased with his own tricks. Who but me could create such a play?
Is he saying at that last part that, well, I don't know if he believes in God. I'm not exactly sure his position on that, but his last comment on, let me get to that. Who but me could create such a play? Or maybe even the belief that we are gods in a sense. And is he saying basically that we are fooling ourselves to try to find ourselves because we can never find ourselves because it can never be seen? We are the seen trying to find a seer. It's like it's like playing hide and seek with yourself and not realizing that you're trying to find yourself, I guess. So you're constantly looking for yourself even though you've already found yourself. You just haven't realized it yet. Or, actually, a pretty good example is whenever someone wears sunglasses and they put it above their head, it's like, man, I've been looking for my sunglasses. I don't know where it's at. And it's right above their head. You've been wearing it this entire time, kinda. Well, maybe not in your eyes, but above your head. Is that what he's saying there? The power of this question is not an intelligent observer. The power of this question is a mere introspective attempt to locate the seer. This is burning a lot of concepts and psychic noise. What remains is only that. Maybe that's what. Yeah, maybe that is what its fact is saying. It's the fact that because we're constantly we're trying to find this. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. Because we're trying to find ourselves, that we're creating all this turbulence and this. I'm sorry. I'm thinking. Let me rewind that. I'm thinking we're in this world by ourselves with a whole bunch of objects in this world, and our task, for some odd reason, is to find ourselves. So we end up turning over all these objects in this world, creating this big mess, this big disturbance, that it is making it more difficult to find ourselves, when in reality we've already found ourselves, I think. But we are creating all this trash and disturbance, all these distractions. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Could very well be wrong. But I'm just curious. That's what I think I got so far. Anyways, that's my reaction to Are You the Seer or the Seen? If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.